Ayo, what's going on everyone? Nathan here. So for the past 2 years, I've been using the AirPods Pro 2nd generation almost every single day as my daily headphone, and I've been absolutely loving them. I have yet to find a better pair of wireless headphones that work so well for me. From the great sound quality to how they perfectly slid into the Apple ecosystem, the good battery life, and also active noise canceling and transparency modes, these have been absolutely awesome. But with the newly released AirPods 4th generation with ANC, I really wanted to give them a try, and they actually surprised me in a really good way. So in this video, I'm gonna cover the 5 biggest differences that I've noticed between these 2 sets of headphones on a day-to-day basis. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you my honest recommendation as to which one I think will be right for you. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the biggest and probably most obvious difference between these 2 sets of headphones are their fit. So the AirPods Pro 2 have a silicone tip, which is actually gonna go into your ear canal. This is gonna help it stay in your ear, and it's also gonna help isolate the sound. While the AirPods 4th generation do not have a silicone tip, and these will more so sit on your ear, and then it points in, and that's how you're gonna get the audio into your ear canal. So me personally, I was someone who was never able to wear any like the original AirPods up until the Pros. The ones that always would just sit on your ear without the silicone tip, they would always fall out of my ears. I don't dare try to like work out with them or try to go for a run or anything active. It's little things like talking and chewing that will actually like make my AirPods want to fall out. And it's super frustrating. I wish that didn't happen, but that's definitely something to keep in mind. The fit on these is very different because when I got the Pros and the silicone tips put in, and I could just do everything, and even without like an extra wing tip, just the silicone tip is enough where they stay in my ears. So I would recommend, if you've never tried AirPods before, I'm sure one of your friends has a pair, just put them on and see if the ones without the silicone tips stay in your ears. Do like a couple jumping jacks or something, and that will be a good tell if the fit will be right for you. But another thing with that is that the silicone tips, they do create a seal, and you can sometimes feel pressure there. I've definitely noticed that after wearing them for long periods of time. It's another thing to keep in mind. If you don't like that pressure feel or like the feeling that it's like sealing off your ears, then you might just have to go with the 4th generation, whether or not they stay in your ears or not. So the second big difference comes to the sound quality, and I thought going into this that the 4s would probably sound about the same, if not a little worse than the Pro 2s, but after trying them out, they pleasantly surprised me, and I actually think that the 4th generation right here actually sounds a little bit better, a little bit clearer than the Pro 2s. So this comes because the 4th generation actually has a new custom driver Apple put inside of it, and I actually noticed the difference. So if you didn't have these side by side, you probably wouldn't notice it, but me going back and forth, definitely the mids and highs are a little bit clearer, and to the point where it was noticeable on like very intense songs, I'd say, so like EDM or rap songs that are very busy. I was definitely able to notice the clarity and the separation between the mids and the high frequencies on these more so than these. It made the Pro 2s sound a little more muffled, especially in the mids and highs, and a little more like jumbled up together. And that's not saying that the Pro 2s are bad at all. I absolutely love these, but it's just something that I've noticed with the new driver on these. However, with that being said though, the AirPods Pro 2 do have more bass, a deeper bass, one that you can actually feel like while you're listening to the music. It doesn't sound like that fake bass at all. It sounds clear, and I actually prefer the bass on these a little more. I think that has to do with the silicone tips, as it creates that seal in your ears, and then those low frequencies can easily travel into your ear canal where they might be getting lost on these. So they're definitely 2 different like listening styles, I would say, but if I had to pick one, I'd actually probably prefer the AirPods 4th generation. It was just like that noticeable a difference with the mids and the highs and the clarity between them, where I would lean towards this way, even though the bass on these is a little more punchy, a little more potent, and you can definitely hear it a little more. So there is definitely a sound difference between the 2, and it's probably gonna come down to which type of music genre you listen to personally. So the third difference I've noticed between these just on a day-to-day use, and I know it's a very small nitpicky thing, but the AirPods Pro 2 have a volume adjusting slider. You can swipe up to raise the volume, swipe down to lower it. These ones also have the flat part, but for some reason Apple didn't put that in these where you can raise and lower the volume on the stem. And that is something I always do instead of always having to like reach into my pocket on my phone to lower or raise the volume. It's just as simple as like a little swipe up or down, and I use that feature all the time. I don't know why Apple didn't put it in the 4th generation. The spot to have it is literally right there, and you would think that they would do that, especially with the H2 chip inside the 4th generation, but it's not there. And it's something that definitely bothers me, and it's just something I wanted you to know about. So just on a day-to-day use, that's another pretty big difference for me. So the 4th difference between these headphones is going to be the battery life. So they're the same in the fact that both of their cases will give you a combined 30 hours on a single charge with the case, but where they differ is on the one-time charge with the headphones themselves. So the AirPod Pro 2s can get up to 6 hours on a single charge, and nowhere on their website is the ANC hourage posted, but the 4th generation right here can get up to 5 hours and 4 hours with ANC activated. So that might not sound like a big difference, but while you're at work all day and like you get into like a rhythm, I pretty much wear my headphones all day at work, and I've definitely noticed the decrease in battery life on the 4th generation compared to the AirPods Pro 2, and you probably won't notice the difference, but if you're using both all the time, like these could last you a cross United States country flight and these would not. So definitely something to keep in mind. The battery life is different on these. And then the last difference I want to talk about, which is actually a lack of a difference, and that is the active noise canceling. So testing these side by side, back to back, I was able to determine that these pretty much sound exactly the same. The only slight difference I was able to hear is that high frequencies with the Pro 2s were ever so slightly like muted, more so than the 4th generation. And I definitely think that's because of the seal that these create. But for non-seal creating headphones, the active noise canceling on these is really, really good. And I would put it on par as this. So if you saw my review video of the 4th generation, you know that I gave on a scale, if I had to, the AirPods Pro 2 at active noise canceling are about an 8.5, and the 4th generation are about an 8.3. So I would say they're pretty much neck and neck, and it's just slightly like the high frequencies get in a little more with this, but I am really impressed with the ANC on this. So if you're wondering about that, don't worry. It's not much of a difference. It's more of like a similarity, which is a good thing. So now moving on to my recommendation, the first thing I want to say when deciding between these two is to consider the fit of them. So if you're someone who knows that AirPods don't fit your ears like myself, then definitely go for the Pro 2s. They'll stay in your ears, and there's no point in having a pair of headphones that you have very limited use of. But if you're someone who does have ears that the AirPods will stay in, then I actually recommend going with the 4th generation here. Not only because it's $10 cheaper, like that's not that big of a difference, but I actually think that the sound quality on these are a little bit better because of those mids and highs. They're a little clearer. That new driver really does create a larger, what's it called? A larger sound stage, so you can hear larger separations in the track that you're listening to. And then that leads me to my second point when deciding on which headphone is right for you, and that's going to be the type of music you listen to. So if you like very bass heavy music like EDM or hip hop and rap, then definitely go with the Pro 2s, as these just have a deeper, more punchy bass sound to them. But if you're someone who listens to like country, classical type of music, a lot of like heavy singing, then again, I would say these, because the highs and the mids are that much more clear. It's just those differences between the genres of music. So those two things, fit and style of music, I think you have your answer right there for you. Me personally, I'm gonna go with the Pro 2s. Again, for the first reason, the 4th generation just doesn't stay in my ear at all. And no matter what I do, they just won't. So for now, even though those sound a little better, I think, I gotta stay with the Pro 2s. So I'm actually gonna be returning the 4th generation. Not that I don't like them, I think they're great headphones. I just almost have no use for them now. So that's gonna be another video. I hope you enjoyed this comparison. And if you want a little more information on either of the headphones, then I do have full reviews of both of them up, and I'll put them right here on the screen for you so you can go check it out. But with that being said, if you enjoyed the video or if you learned something new, then please don't forget to the like button down below and subscribe. And as always, have a great day, everyone. Cheers.